All right, shalom, shalom. Before I begin, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers laboring worldwide in truth and sincerity, and salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect, believing on the words of Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi. Coming at you with another in transit. And this lesson is going to be titled with perplexity. All right, and you go into that word in the Greek in Luke 21 and 24. It's a heavy definition, man. You know, yeah, that's what's growing on the earth, perplexity. With all the plagues and the calamities that the Lord is setting out, they're going to bring on perplexity. And that definition of that word, it says to be without resources. All right, to be left wanting. Basically, the biggest resource you're going to be without are answers. Okay, and that's what we're seeing growing. I seen a video the other day regarding inflation, and America has grown to the point it was back in 2020. You know, well, guess what? Those tariffs, you know, those goods not coming in, people losing their jobs, the cost of living is going up, and your pay is not going up. Those things are going to bring heavy perplexity upon the earth.
We got a double whammy of not so great economic news today. First, the latest inflation gauge is showing inflation is going in the wrong direction, up. And also, we learned more people are filing for unemployment. In fact, new unemployment claims hit a level we haven't seen since 2021. So I'm going to explain each of those things in detail in this video. Let's start with the August Consumer Price Index report, which found inflation heated up between July and August, increasing 0.4% month over month. Now, we haven't seen a month over month increase like that since January of this year. And even more concerning, according to this new report, inflation is up almost 3% between August of this year and August of last year. Let me be clear. These numbers prove inflation is going in the wrong direction. And you're feeling it because the biggest increases that we are seeing are in the basic necessities of life. According to the report, food was up 0.5% between July and August of this year and up more than 3% year over year. Shelter was up almost 0.5% between July and August and was up more than 3.5% between August of this year and August of last year. And gasoline for your car also jumped up almost 2% between July and August of this year. But it is lower than it was last year. Natural gas for your home is up almost 14% year over year, and electricity for your home is up more than 6% year over year. And just because I know you guys care about it, eggs were almost 11% more expensive in August of this year than they were in August of last year, and coffee was up dramatically, almost 21% year over year. On top of that, as I mentioned, more people are filing unemployment claims. According to the Department of Labor, for the week ending on September 6th, 263,000 people filed for unemployment. That is the highest level for initial claims that we have seen since October of 2021. The Labor Department says as of August 30th, the number of people receiving unemployment benefits was almost 2 million. So let's put those numbers into some context. The job of the Federal Reserve is to ensure price stability and maximum employment. Right now, neither of those things are happening. Literally, both are going in the wrong direction. But the Federal Reserve doesn't control everything. The President and Congress are responsible for coming up with the economic policy for this country, which impacts both jobs and prices. Like, for example, the president's policy on tariffs. The Fed has no control over that. The Fed can only react to those policies. And the way they react is by either increasing or cutting interest rates. Cutting interest rates would make it easier to borrow money for you and me and American businesses, and increasing interest rates makes it more difficult. The conundrum the Federal Reserve is dealing with in this current economic situation is if they lower interest rates to try and stop the bleeding in the jobs market, they will risk inflation going up even more. And if they keep the interest rates steady or increase them, it possibly could get inflation down, but it would also likely make the jobs market worse and leave more people out of work.
So much so it's going to cause these people to lose it. You know, you got Jake losing the jobs at an all-time high. You know, well, guess what, man? That's the will of Yahawashi. Those are the players that he's sending forth to bring this place down, and it's only going to increase. What is that? Second Ezra 14 and 16. Greater evils than those that y'all have seen happen shall be done hereafter. So the inflation is going to increase to hyperinflation. The job losses is going to increase to over a million, 2 million, 3 million, to the point where you people are going to be in a state of wanting this place to get back to where it was now. See, the Lord is cooking up some. You got the rock. Do you smell what the rock is cooking? Well, Jake, do you smell what Yahawashi is cooking? The Lord is cooking up evil and only evil. And you're not going to be able to escape, man. See, when Jake thought it was sweet, doing those line dances, making those memes when the world is ending, you doing line dance, or you can't wait. You can't wait till the money crash. And Lord willing, I got a video regarding that, man. How these banks, are getting set to, and Lord willing, I added into this post-processing along with that inflation video I seen, but that bank closing, they passed a bill. This guy said that called instead of bailout, it's called bail in, to the point where they can keep your money. You go and try and take $250,000 out of your account, and they tell you no, and there's nothing that you can be able to do about it. See, that's going to have the perplexity, growing on the planet Earth.
The banking sector of the United States of America is about to collapse. There's no question in anybody's mind anymore that is about to happen. Now, if you don't know that, it's not because it's not true. It's simply because nobody in the mainstream media is talking about it. All economists see it. Everybody in the banking system sees it. Everybody's scared shitless. They're just not talking about it. Here's what happened. Number one, a building in Midtown Manhattan that sold for $382 million in 2006 was just auctioned a few weeks ago for $8.2 million. You heard me correctly. $382 million. It was auctioned for $8.2 million. The reason for this is occupancy in major office buildings around the country has dropped tremendously. Everybody's working from home. It's more effective for companies, so why would they have commercial real estate they don't need? So they're not leasing these office buildings anymore. And these office buildings have literally, across the country, $20 trillion in debt. What happened was the cap rate on these buildings, when they were full, was about 4.5%, which is what you would expect. That's what you want as a landlord. It's perfect. Unfortunately, because of COVID, everybody went home. And then corporations realized, well, hell, just because I can't see them doesn't mean that they're not doing the same amount of work. Okay, great. Stay home. I'll just give you a tiny little raise so that you can buy some stuff at your house and do business from home. Perfect. Except that what they did by doing that was lower the cap rate with these huge, huge occupancies to just barely above zero. Those office buildings are financed at the old rates of 2%, and they're not making any money. In some cases, they're losing just a tiny bit at 2%. When they have to refinance those loans, and there are $4 trillion of those insanely low interest rate loans coming due in the next 18 months, those loans will be defaulted upon, period. Those buildings will be empty. The banking system in the United States will start to collapse. So the question you have to ask yourself is, do I want my money in the banking system? Well, it's FDIC insured, right? Sure. The FDIC talked about in November of 2022, they talked about something that most people never heard about. I actually watched the video where the FDIC director said, look, we don't want to talk about bail-ins because it'll panic the public, it'll cause a run on institutions, but there will be bail-ins. That's what he said. A bail-in is simply the opposite of a bailout. Instead of your tax money going to prop up the banks like it did in 2008, because they swore that they'd never do that again, they came up with a different plan, bail-ins. And a bail-in means that you go to the bank and you say, I want my $250,000. And they say, no. You can't have it. That's it. It's a bail-in. Now, what people don't realize is that because of the legislation that was passed after 2008, the Dodd-Frank Act, you are no longer putting your money in their institution. According to that act, you now are making an unsecured loan to your financial institution. Unsecured, which means if they can't pay you back, they don't have to pay you back. In lieu of that, however, you can opt for stock in their insolvent bank. Now, I don't know if that excites you. I can't think of anything less exciting. I would rather stick a fork in my own eye than have my entire life savings disappear in lieu of stock in a worthless bank. Warren Buffett just sold $282 million worth of Bank America a couple days ago. What does he know that you don't? Start doing some homework, folks. And by the way, the reason I know all of this is because I'm in the silver business. I don't deal with bullshit paper that's written by...
Another definition in that word perplexity, is to be in straits. You know, that word straight, S-T-R-A-I-T. Yeah, basically in a position of difficulty. You know, you had a saying between a rock and a hard place. And that's how you people want to be, man. You want to be between some difficult decisions. You know, should I pay my bill? Or should I eat this month? You know? Or can I get away with putting $20 in my tank, you know, to make it through the week? See, these things are going to grow. And they're going to grow in their perfection. To the point where you people who've been dependent on Esau, that's who you're going to have to turn to. And what Esau going to do, he's going to give you the chip, man. He's going to give you that micro C-hip and tell you everything is going to be okay. Tell you that, yeah, we're going to go back to normal once you take this tiny device, this grain of rice, you know? And when you take it, should say you're going to be had in derision and trodden underfoot. So it ain't even going to be a benefit to you. It's not going to be a end all be all. It's not going to be, as it were, a saving grace. And these lights, man, it's different today. They turning quicker and quicker now, you know? Hey, and that's a symptom of the end. The Lord is speeding up the time. Why he's speeding up the time? For the elect's sake. See, everything is trending toward the kingdom of heaven. All right? The uproars of the people in the world, you know, you got plenty of uproars still going on. And hey, France's government has failed, man. You know? Nepal government has failed. You got protests, heavy protests going on in Great Britain right now. You know? You got heavy protests going on in Austria, in Australia. You know? See, these are the signs that our Lord Yahawah, Yahawashi, our Lord Yahawashi, said to look for before his second appearing, man. You know? So that perplexity, that's going to be a great plague that the Lord bring upon these people. Because he's going to take away all their resources. And the old saying is, when people ain't got nothing to lose, they what? They lose it. And these people are on the verge of losing it. You see those signs already. People at work, you know, and somebody gets smart with them, or they don't like the service that they provided, you know, and they get something said to them, man, they stabbing people in the necks, you know, they shooting out the window at them, you know. See, these things are going to continue to intensify. And that, again, that perplexity is going to have Jake in a place that he hasn't experienced in this current kingdom, man. You know, see, Jake believed that things are going to get better. But scripture tell you when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as a woman in travail, with child. Paraphrasing. It goes on to say that sudden destruction is going to come upon them, man. So these things are now intensifying. These things are now growing in the planet Earth. So much so that Jake is going to be caught out there, man. Why? Because they haven't been measuring the times diligent. You know, they haven't been basically looking at the prophecies, man. And the Lord got them that way. He put those blinders on them. They can't see afar off. They can only see what is near. You going into that phrase, see afar off? They can only see what is near. Basically, they can't see the forest for the trees. They're so focused on their life, and how they're gonna make it to the day to day. They don't see the big picture. See? And again, that perplexity, man, that's just a heavy word. Because Jake is gonna be without answers. That's the biggest resource they're gonna be without. Not knowing how to turn. And Lord willing, once I get to my destination, I'm gonna get that word perplexity. You know, I believe it's the root word of that word perplexity in the Greek. You know, yeah, Jake, man, you gonna wish you had listened in that day. You gonna wish that that the Lord put the spirit on you to hearken to the voice of the trumpet, man. You know, you gonna wish that see, yeah, you gonna wish that that you would have listened to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, man. It's just gonna be that emphatic of a judgment on this place, man. Cause Jake ain't gonna be able to get away. You know, Jake talking shit in Chirac and Chicago right now. Hey man, well Esau come with them damn troops, man. He gonna come with it all. He gonna come with come with the drones, you know. Yeah, he gonna come and bring that great wrath upon you, man. And the Lord gonna put you down because of your pride. You don't want to depend on the Lord for the want of all things. You want to depend on Esau, and that's gonna lead to your what? Your death, man. Jake, you're gonna die a horrible death. Scripture tells you in what is that? Jeremiah 16. Uh, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented. You want to be as dung upon the face of the earth, man. You see? Yeah, man, that's gonna be a heavy day in prophecy. Hey, Jacob's trouble. You know, Jacob's trouble is fastly approaching. It says a time like none other, a time that you ain't never seen before. Again, Jake, you've been living it up for so long. Pardoning and bullshitting, basically having it your way. And now the Lord's going to bring this great wrath upon you by the way of Esau, man. And you see how the city is being cut off, as it were. That blockade and siege. Your food is being taken away. Your resources is being taken away. Your water is being taken away. Hey, your mind is going to be taken away. Because you're going to be left in a state that, damn, what am I supposed to do? How am I going to get this? How am I going to pay that bill? How am I going to provide for my family? You know? See, man, when you step back and look at what the Lord is doing, it should produce fear. But Jake ain't in fear, man. When all these things happen, they're going to be in fear. Scriptures tell us that in that Isaiah 28, that bed shorter than they can lay upon it, and the cover not a covering. Lord willing, I get that too. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to comfort yourself in that time, man. You sleeping on a bed too short. You got cover that's not going to be able to cover your whole body. You in a fetal position and your feet still out. You're not even covered completely, man. And it goes on to say that it's going to be a vexation only to understand the report. So when you're in the midst of those evils, without those resources and that perplexity still growing, guess what? You're going to know the Lord, man. Because that's how he's known, by the judgment which he executed. You're going to know Yahawashi in that day through his plagues, through his judgments that he's bringing upon this place. And guess what, Jake? They're tailor-made for you, you know? Hey, again, that's why it's called Jacob's trouble. You see? And you got Esau. Esau ready to put you down too, Jake. You don't even realize it, man. Esau ready to slaughter you, you know? And that's going to be part of those perplexity. Because you ain't going to want to go out in the streets when you see them damn good old boys riding up and down the block in those goddamn pickup trucks. You know, you're going to be wondering, when is it safe to go out? You know? Yeah, that's going to be part of that perplexity. You know? That vexation of understanding the report, man. You see? Let's see. We can grab that real quick. Yeah, something is on my spirit. Jake don't believe shit stink till it's up close and personal. You still can go to work. See, that's another thing. Yeah, when your routine, your simple routine is taken away, you know, then you're gonna be looking like, damn, what I'm gonna do now? But see, that simple routine is gonna be taken away soon, man. You know, Jake can go to work, get his little 40 hours, 40 plus hours, and he think he's straight. You know, trick off on the weekend. You know, um, just continue this terrible existence here in America, man. Because it tells us that the captive exile Haitian that he may be loose. So Jake ain't even Haitian, man. In fact, they love it here. See? Let's get that. Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 28. And I'm going to get to the point. It says, Isaiah 28 and 19. You know what? We'll start at verse 18. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled. Yeah, see? Your covenant with Esau is going to be disannulled, man. There's not going to be a benefit. You know, the Lord going to cut that damn covenant off. And your agreement with hell shall not stand when the overflowing scourge shall pass through. Then ye shall be trodden down by it. See? From the time they goeth forth, it shall take you. From morning by morning shall it pass over you. By day and by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand the report. See that? So when all hell's breaking loose and you're in the midst of perplexity, it's going to be a vexation only to understand the report, man. It says, for the bed is shorter than a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than he can wrap himself in it. See? So yeah, you can imagine you sleeping on a twin bed and you 6'4", you know, and that cover that you got is exclusively for a twin bed. It ain't gonna cover you. And that's how you people gonna be in the time that we're in. You're not gonna be covered, man. You know? Now let's get this word perplexity. This is the book of St. Luke, chapter 21, and verse 24. Excuse me, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Right, the sea and the waves being a metaphor for the people being in an uproar. Again, we mentioned some of those uproars that's going on. You know, you got immigration uproar still. You know, And an uproar is nothing more than a protest, man. People are not happy with the status quo. You see? Let's get this word perplexity. Okay. That word perplexity, Strong's G 639. It says to be without resources, right? See? Yeah, you people want to be without resources, man. To be in straits, to be left wanting, to be embarrassed, right? Your trust in the shadow of Egypt going to be your shame. To be in doubt, not to know which way to turn. Yeah, see? You're not going to have the answers, man. You're not going to know which way to turn, how you need to go about it. It says to be at a loss of oneself, be in doubt, not to know how to decide or what to do. In the Strongs, it says to have no way out, and that's where you people are going to be boxed off to the point where you're going to have to trust in Esau and take his micro C here, man. You see? It says, i.e., be at a loss mentally. See that? Yeah, you're going to be at a loss mentally. You're going to be a scatterbrain, you know? And we all know the saying, where your mind is, your ass going to follow. So if your mind all over the place, your body going to be all over the place. You know, you're not going to be stable in those times. Hey, the elect is going to be stable in those times. What is that? Isaiah 33 and 6. You know, this word is a stabilizer. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, you see. So yeah, fear Yahawashi leads to life, man. You know, but 2/3 are going to be with perplexity. The word is going to be with perplexity. They're not going to have any answers. They're going to be in straits, you know. So I pray this has been edifying. And give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Qadash. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Till the next time, Shalom.